Broadcasting live. It's America's longest running talk show on computers. It's Computer America, bringing you the biggest names in technology with guest interviews, new products, and your emails. Listen live at computeramerica.com on any device around the world. Email the show at live@computeramerica.com or find us on social media. Be sure to check out our website for contests, giveaways, show notes, live video stream, podcasts, and more. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome everyone into the Computer America Show. We are the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers and technology. Everyone, welcome into the program. Today on the show, we have the one, the only, Danavation Technologies. And if you haven't heard about them, this is going to be the perfect show for you because we have, of course, the president and CEO joining us to talk all about what they do, how they do it. And this is something that you are going to start seeing, if you haven't already seen, going to start seeing in a lot of places around you. Really, it's, when we're starting to digitize almost everything, this one just makes so much sense. And I'm looking forward to talking about, how much more productive and easier and better this can be for not just consumers, but also retailers and, well, everyone. So everyone, before we get started, computeramerica.com. That's where you'll find everything, including past shows, future shows, show notes, podcasts, articles, reviews, links to social media, all that and more. And of course, right there on our homepage for the next couple of days, you'll be able to find the show notes for today, which will include a link to our guest website. If you'd like to head on out to danavation.com, Danavation, you can of course find them right there, or head on over to computeramerica.com and we'll have a link right there on our homepage. Now, with all that being said, let's go ahead and get things started with our guest. And joining us is Mr. John Ricci. He is, of course, the president and CEO of Danavation Technologies, and I'm really happy to have him back. So, hey, John, how you doing? Welcome back on the program.
Joe, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me back.
Of course. Now, let's, I think, again, we're going to treat this as completely fresh, new for everyone out there who doesn't, who don't recall, and for all of our new listeners. So let's go ahead and get a bit of background. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Have you always been on the technology side? Have you been in kind of the retail side? And, what is your background? And then I guess from there, launch into Danavation. Danavation, when did that start?
Yeah, great. So thanks for that. So yeah, I've always been in the retail side, 30 years with my other company, which was a privately held company, Dana Industries. Dana Industries is total retail solution provider, anything from store fixtures to shopping carts, baskets, everything in between, all kinds of signage, shelf talkers, blades, danglers, wobblers, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we started in 1993. In 2016, 17, we started looking at the digital world and how it could help the retailers of the future and retail stores of the future. In 2018, we incorporated Danavation Technologies. In 2021, second week of January, we went public. So it's been quite the journey. I'm just kind of skipping along with it, but My background is in retail, both food, non-food, and other businesses, and that company continues to run itself. It's got a very good team there. And what we share in common is our pipeline of business. A lot of our early adapters have been customers from the world of Dane Industries and the world of retail.
Yeah, and obviously because you are doing this in parallel, you're going to know very intimately what the pain points are. And when you kind of started, Danavation, do you think that, and I'm not saying that this is the only solution out there, but when you decided to kind of tackle this problem, did you, kind of know that this was a pain point that you needed to solve, and like you knew the tech that that needed it? Because I think some of the best products that come out are when you have intimate knowledge of where something could be better, and then you have, of course, the technology to make it, that just didn't exist 5, 10, 15 years ago. How did this idea of kind of smart labeling kind of come about?
Retail's it's a world of clutter. It's a world of paper and labor, possible errors, and just things haven't changed in, I don't know, 30, 40 years. I tell some people there's a picture of a hand going on a label on a presentation decks, and it's just someone pulling off something on a pad cook or repricing a pad cook. And I tell everybody the picture could have been taken this morning, yesterday, last week, or 30 years ago. And the point is, nothing much has changed in that world. It's a world of stickies, perfed paper, printing at store, printing third party, shipping it to store in store complements to, if you have 50 or 100 stores. Very time consuming, labor intensive, error filled world in grocer. And now's the time. I mean, we're trying to get things more efficient. Look how far we've come with our smartphones and what smartphones have done for us. And 20 or 30 years ago, cell phones are just a fad type thing. But if you want to run an effective pricing strategy in your stores, this is the way to do it.
I can imagine that, since you're last on now, we are dealing with, especially here in the United States, I think it's like a global problem. So I can say, things like inflation are kind of fun
Crazy.
lately. Yeah, very, very crazy. And I can imagine that a system like yours, because, retailers are having to change their prices almost, daily, weekly, whatever it may be. I can imagine that there's even more demand for something that, you mentioned labor. Let's touch on that real quick. How much labor are you really saving if you, let's say, I don't know how big of an installation you kind of install for these typically, but how much labor are we really saving, and how much more effective is a digital display?
Okay, I think when we talk about, so you're saving the labor as it pertains to changing your pricing, the paper, the in and out, just your 1,000 or 2,000 SKUs a week that most stores do. I mean, that's the kind of labor savings. We're not replacing people.
Right.
You're replacing the task of pricing. But if you can digitize that whole part of your business, and you touched on something that's very, very important right now, and you mentioned inflation, cost of goods sold, maintaining a pricing margin in your stores is really, really important. And store owners, associates don't have the time and a day to walk around to check every single item. It's impossible to do it. I mean, traditional way of changing pricing SKUs was weekly on a set program that was set up a few weeks ahead of time. Then you go and execute and hope it executes 100%, but it's never been 100%. So if you can eliminate that, that's one thing. If you can capture your margins and maintain your margin strategy month by month, part of your business plan, I mean, this is a real good thing. And I've said this, I've started saying this to a lot of our customers, and I think it's true. Companies lose the most amount of money when they're making a lot of money because they're not paying attention to the small little details. They're not paying attention to the extra costs in the course of a month, and things slip because you're thinking, we're making, we made a pretty good double-digit margin this month, 3 months in a row, great quarter, everything is going great. But what's going out the door with errors, with food loss, with perishable good loss, and just things that you can capture. This system is not just replacing the labor and a person and taking away paper. I mean, of course it's doing that, but the labor, you repurpose it to more important tasks in the store, servicing customers, product demos, product displays, helping your customers and helping increase their basket sizes. This is what you need to do.
Right. Yeah. And you've been at this for a little while now. And of course, I believe on your site, you have case studies and, a couple of these other, real world scenarios. In your opinion, I mean, obviously in a business, everything can be seen as an expense, something up front, and then hopefully you'll start saving it on the back end. And like you're saying, in time, labor, efficiency, all that kind of thing. What do you think would be like how long until like the system, might start paying for itself? Would that depend on the industry or other factors? I mean, clearly at some point, this system should start saving the person money, right? Or the company money, right?
Well, so imagine I eliminate paper in Ben Grocers, and then I manage my labor a little bit better, and I'm repurposing my employees now to help sell more product. Mm-hmm. Isn't that, something that you have an interest in? What if your food loss is cut in half every month? What if your loss rate is cut in half? What if you can manage your perishable goods? What if you're able to buy inventory and merchandise the stores more effective? What if you can maintain your margins across the board on a regular basis? So you paid X for your system, you're getting money back. And what if you could stimulate your customers to buy more product? So increasing your sales, becoming operationally more efficient, maintaining a margin strategy, cutting things like food loss, cutting your error rates when something is not priced correctly at the shelf. The customer goes to the cash is out. I'm sorry, the price is different. Well, why is it different on the shelf? It's $4.99, and why are you charging me $6.99? That product becomes either discounted, or I'm not sure. Some companies have to give it to a customer for free. I'm not sure, depending by state. Right. There's different rules. But what if you start taking a look at specifics? What is the overall system worth to you? I mean, it's just not, wow, put the system in, and how much paper are we saving and how much labor? There's a lot more to this system than meets the eye. And we're seeing that across the board. And we're seeing, the reasons customers like this right now, it is other, it's not just because of the labor and the paper. There's other things that the system will do for you.
Yeah.
And we're not limited to we're not limited to grocery either. That's one market, but we're into vertical markets. We have manufacturing. We're working with some auto companies or projects, and hospitals reaching out for projects.
I can imagine. Just to jump in there, my previous life, I worked, actually I didn't work, but I had to go into a warehouse on a regular basis, and I can imagine, just anything that has to manage inventory, and especially things like warehouses that are, very strict. This product, this, for this process, that kind of thing. This would have been such not just a time saver, but some of the materials that we dealt with were in the tens of thousands of dollars. You don't want that going in the wrong place or being misplaced. And, I can imagine that having a label just be very up to date, ready to go, and have even more information than a paper label would be ideal. So, yeah.
Well, these light up. So, So think about this. So think about you mentioned warehousing. So it's one thing to pick the stock item and then sell it. But then you're in my department. Hey, Ben, there's 6 carts of returns. Mm-hmm. I need to put everything back on the shelf where it belongs. What if the system can help you direct you to where specifically and exactly that product goes? How much time are you saving instead of walking around with a cart, putting it back, hopefully putting it back where it's supposed to? But sometimes human beings take shortcuts and just put it back here and it's fine here. Right. What if the system can actually help you place it back on the shelf where it belongs? What's that worth to you, right? So the pick to light, stock to light. It's little things that we're doing like that. There's some real cool developments with our software team that we're perfecting and coming up with that we're really excited about.
Very, very cool. Now, I really feel like, we've laid out the use cases and, the way that people may be seeing this on the shelves, or, businesses may be utilizing this. Let's take a little step back and talk about the technology itself, because, hey, that's pretty important. For anyone out there watching the video portion, we have some of the key takeaways, and this is kind of what I wanted to outline for all of our listeners. How does this work, and what are some features? And I guess we'll start with, how's it work by, is this Wi-Fi? Is this Bluetooth? Is this managed from a central location? Is this, every store? Is it over the internet? Talk about, let's say, a completely blank slate, and you install one of these systems. What do you need to do, and how do you get it up and running?
Great. So let's just take a hypothetical situation: 100 stores, 25,000 square feet in each one. Our base stations in that size, you probably need 4. So each base station covers 7,500 square feet. So base station sits in the ceiling, PoE networking cable into your server in the store. That base station talks to your digital smart label tags that are sitting on your shelf on data strips or peg hooks or what have you. So the store, so head office, Ben sitting in the office, and you want to change 2,000 SKUs tomorrow. Not only the 100 stores, but you want to change them by region. So you may have 100 stores broken into 4 regions, 25 stores per region. Mm-hmm. Perhaps you're changing, 20% of each store in a region the same. So you don't have to, so you may have a different pricing strategy where the same product may be priced differently depending where the geography of the store is. Right. So your system, you set up from head office, all your price changes, or it's done automatically. You may have your margin set. You may have everything that's, all the new product coming in, it's at a different price point, but you set up all your margins at the office, and you set it for 12:01 a.m. tomorrow morning. 12:01 a.m. tomorrow morning. You don't see it, but everything flashes, and boom, 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 everything changes. Store managers walk into the store tomorrow morning, 7:00. That's your start time, and everything is done.
Very, very sleek
across the board, right? So you don't have to be there. You can have, of course, have a bypass, and you can have the store managers, or you can give access to employees if you want to get something changed. Sometimes there's clearance, and every store has different clearance items. So there's a lot of flexibility with that. So it'll do what you want it to do or what you don't want it to do. Right. So high speed, 10-year battery life, no power required at the shelf. A next generation display. Important to notice with Danavation, we design and engineer our own hardware and software in-house in Vaughan, Ontario. We're a North American company, nice. Not based here. We are a North American company. We're founded in North America. We give our customers home field advantage. Our cloud-based software, our servers, our security, everything that goes, with a tech system that you could imagine, is all controlled by our office in Vaughan. Our tech team is there, and R&D and sales and marketing. So we're a very, very safe company to do work with when you talk about digital and the high tech world.
Right. Yeah. And so with all that, I wanted to touch on real quick about the, kind of the back end and managing all that kind of thing, because unfortunately, I'm not the most savvy when it comes to, kind of retail back end and inventory and all that kind of thing. Are there systems that you integrate with? Is this something that is completely your own, and, these companies will kind of give you their spreadsheets and you import them into your system? What is kind of the onboarding process for getting everything up and running?
Yeah, that's exactly it. We integrate with your POS system, your ERP system, what have you. Our software is agnostic. It can work with basically anybody's POS system. We haven't had one issue at all. Doesn't take too long. It could be, our shortest is about 5 days integrating with a company's POS system. And once it's up and going, we're like 99.99999% with their system, and our error rates are non-existent. We have no breakdowns. The system works just fine, and we're always upgrading. We have some proprietary and some unique software features to Danavation that allows you to, basically we can install your store, not even have to be there. Really? We can spec your store from across the continent, ship you a store complement, and easy to do it yourself. But I would say just depending on the size of your store, 2-3 days you're up and running, full support out of the box. We're making it that easy to scale. We're making it that easy to operate. Basically plug and play. That's what it's all about.
Perfect. And for everyone out there watching as well, we have a couple of different examples that we found on your site of the different labels. For everyone out there just listening, I mean, these things are they're e-ink, I'm assuming, which gives them the long battery life that you're talking about. Although now this is colored e-ink, and I know that was something that you were working on a little while ago. That now you are actually showing it off. Talk about the different labels and kind of what you're improving, because you have a lot more options than the last time we talked.
Yeah, so we can manufacture the label anywhere from a 1.5, we just talk in inches, to a 13.6, I think it is, in a tablet size. So depending on the size of the products on the shelf, it will determine the size of the tag, of course.
Mm-hmm.
We could add color. Multicolor displays are coming out, but right now we have as you can see, we're showing on the screen, red, black, white, yellow.
Bit of yellow, yeah.
Black, white, yeah. So clearance, it's ideal for that. Each one has a light, 8 different color LEDs built into the system. We can put anything on this tag that you can imagine. We can put images. Anything on your PDF that you want to mimic can go on this tag. So we have a real easy system that allows you to do so. You're seeing a picture of a smooth face framing hammer, 22 ounce, price, made in Canada, UPC code, QR codes, engage your customers at the shelf. Anything and everything. So we're making it. It's just not some boring label that you see. So there's a purpose behind it. All of these right now, and we offer custom sizes. So we have a large retailer in Ontario that we've designed their back end software, and we've designed their custom hardware for them. So it's not limited to this. We can make them in color if the quantity warranted it. Reds, blacks, you name it, multi wood tones. So it's there's no limitations really to what we can do with this to make it aesthetically pleasing in your stores. Where we've made them thinner. We have a nice thin display. You can see it, how clear it is. And most people who look at it think it's paper. So it's interesting when you look at it and you realize, wow, that's e-ink.
Yeah. And this is just a complete aside, but CES was a couple of months ago, and BMW, I think it really grabbed a lot of people's attention. I think it was BMW, might have been Mercedes, that had the e-ink car, where
That's
all
right.
the different.
They call it e-ink.
Yeah. Same kind of technology. I'm assuming. Obviously, it's a little bit different form factor, but. Yeah,
no, that's the BMW that changed colors.
Yeah. It went from white to black.
I'm not sure what technology they're using. Could be something similar, but they might be calling it e-ink. But very, very cool concept from BMW for sure.
Definitely proof of concept. But yeah, that was just a complete aside. But no, the labels that you have here, and by the way, let's see, I could navigate elsewhere onto the site to kind of show the different use cases, as you were saying before, because it makes so much sense for retail and shops and groceries and food, because, food changes all the time and stuff like that. But you even have here healthcare, which is something that we touched on last time you were on the program, where, hey, the pandemic's still going on. We're all trying to kind of cope and move on with it. But, the healthcare industry has certainly changed in a lot of ways, a lot more touch-free surfaces, a lot more, kind of cleaning and sanitation, that kind of thing. How have you seen, kind of the need for, as I was just saying, touch-free, sanitary, kind of labels and that kind of thing? How have you seen that kind of drive Danavation and how they develop their labels?
Yeah, it's not even just that. If you look at healthcare, the amount of Scotch tape and letter-sized paper stuck in a patient's room, on their bed, behind where they're lying, on the side of the wall, dietary information, medical instructions, or medication times, et cetera. It's archaic. I still can't believe it. I mean, some of the newer hospitals, we've got a couple of newer ones in Ontario that are going, the digital route, and they're a lot more efficient. But the majority of the hospitals and healthcare facilities in North America are not brand new. When a brand new one opens, it's a big deal. How many aren't? I mean, aftercare facilities. So modernizing an old facility is real easy with the system because there's no wiring required. So I can if you had 80 rooms and we put the base stations in the hallways, et cetera, and we do a rangefinder test, right, I can put these on every room without having to run any wiring conduit, and the system works. So imagine how easy it is to upgrade and update an older facility with digital smart labels in this module, which is a room number with a DSL mounted internally that has patient records that you access on icons. So it's a pretty cool system, and this can be done in a week or less. It's fantastic.
Very, very fast. And I definitely like the fact that, you can ship them out and kind of have people self-install, because it seems like it would be as easy as, get the base station in place and then make sure your ranges are good and just stick it on a wall with double-sided tape.
Pre-programmed, send it to the customer. And we, like I said, we're 24/7 and we can walk you through it, but we're making it real easy to pull our system out of a box and install it in your environment.
Perfect. So so we have that going on, and we've seen now some of the stuff that you were talking about on past shows. Different colors, different finishes, these things, different form factors. You teased a little bit earlier about different software that you're starting to develop that people can eventually take advantage of. I'm assuming that and let's face it, you said some of these things have 10-year shelf life, 10-year battery life. These systems are going to be in place for quite a while. How future-proof, I guess? Like let's say in 5 years you come out with something really new. Obviously, you don't know what's going to happen in 5 years, but you're going to support these for quite a while, right? Like if someone buys into the system, they're going to be good.
Yeah, so actually, you bring up a very good point. We try to be tech forward with our system. We have some competitors and they're selling technology from, I don't know, 5-10 years ago. And first generation, clunkier tags, the screen resolution is questionable. The software just it isn't what you want to see running your store in 2022 and beyond. Getting our tags thinner, taking up less real estate. We have some pretty high ambitious R&D things in development right now that are really exciting for us. Right. But we're always we don't sit back. We're a very future thinking company. Yes, they're 10-year battery life, but we like to think beyond that. And be able to upgrade for our customers and be ready for the next jump. But it's such a low adoption rate right now in North America, sitting at 5%. That the market is huge, and when we getting the product out there is important for us, and it's important for us to prove how well the system can help.
I can really imagine that a lot of, especially much larger retailers with multiple locations, like you've been outlining, would be, so interested in this. I guess it's just, what do you think are some of the hesitations companies might have? Is it the fact that, it's just changing to something new and having to retrain employees is a problem, or is it the upfront cost? What do you think would have to change for that adoption rate to go from 5% to 50%? Is it just getting the word out there?
A combination. So I guess depends on the markets. Grocery stores work on smaller margins, and of course we look at them as the massive market we should be attacking. But it'll be price. But the prices have come down, so we show our ROI calculator, and we work in our store assessment with the retailer, and we show them that this is affordable because it's a monthly model, and we prove to them in a collaboration process when we get from them how much they're spending a month to maintain a pricing strategy in the store and how much our system would cost. And they're a little surprised when they see how affordable it is. The second thing would be, but you're seeing more and more companies build their own internal IT departments, but oh my God, am I going to have to hire people to run the system? It becomes intimidating. It's new, right? Tech still intimidates a lot of people. Right. So showing them how easy it is to operate, and our out of the box and our quick sync technology and all the things we're doing to make it user friendly are helping the cause. I know that's just the more of the, like in the retail world and food and non-food retail. When we get into other markets and our vertical markets, they're solution based projects, so they have pain points. And they give us pain points. They're very tech savvy. They understand what e-ink is and the technology, and they bring us a series of problems or questions and projects that they think, in theory, we could solve for them. Right. And in most cases, we do that. So we become the solution-based software company that solves problems and solves pain points and creates a system that allows you to run your business. And those are fantastic projects because it's not about price at that point. It's about the solution to our problem. And, and in most cases, what we have as a solution, it's very economical in terms of what other solutions are out there and what you don't have to do on infrastructures and, drilling holes and wires, et cetera, et cetera. So it's very cost effective. And our software team really specializes in being solution providers for pain points.
Right. Yeah. And I'm sure that, kind of what I touched on before was a lot of the companies that we have here on the program and a lot of the, kind of new technologies that we discuss, they weren't even possible 5, 10, 15 years ago. You were just talking about, some of your competitors trying to sell 5-year-old displays. And that's because that's kind of, the only way to get the price point down to a certain point. I mean, obviously that's you guys have, kind of done a little bit better in the fact that you make it in-house and you make it here in North America. That, means so much. But yeah, new technology, I mean, sometimes I feel like people think it's too good to be true, but I mean, that's just what technology does. It develops and gets cheaper, better, more efficient over time.
There's always a big kaboom, right? Something new comes out and we're looking at it. There's a big buzz, but we're not a theory. Mm-hmm. So we're a commercialized business. So we're not hoping to, come up with a product at some point that's going to solve problems. We actually have customers and our customer base is improving and growing week by week. And we install into various locations. So we are a very good company in that regard. And, we're just looking to grow and get our name out there and
Perfect.
Digitize, more companies.
Yeah, and I would love having you on. I think we're going to wrap this interview up with this question, which is the future. I know that you were talking about some of the software stuff. I'm sure that your people probably don't want you talking about it just yet. But where do you see the future of Danavation going?
It's software, and more software. We're a software company, so big data, customer engagement features, analytics for retailers, capturing data for them.
I did see a blog post that you actually posted about artificial intelligence, and I can imagine AI.
Yeah, so there's all kinds of exciting things that we can bring, that we're going to be bringing to the table in the next 1 to 3 years, and we're really excited about it. We got a dynamic team, and like I said, it's all done in-house, our R&D and our software development and our hardware engineering. And we're really proud of that. And we got some really, really sharp people involved in this business. And, we're quick to react. And so we relish challenges, and we look forward to meeting new customers, new people, new projects.
Perfect. And I think with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. And the music means we're going to say goodbye here. So everyone, we've been talking to Mr. John Ricci. He is the president and CEO of Danavation Technologies. If you want to find out more, John, I'm assuming the best place is, of course, your website, danavation.com.
Danavation.com. Yep. You got
Perfect.
it.
All right, and everyone, and there's everything there from contact to the blog that I mentioned, and just everything that we talked about you can find there, or computeramerica.com. So, John, until next time, thank you so much. Everyone else, have a great day. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great day. Take care.